Mark will be here in a minute. We are waiting for USPS because he keeps saying that our dope is coming in the mail.
USPS
Woo!
because
Hey! We have a volume issue. I don't know. Let me find it. There it is. Okay. There. He keeps saying that our dope is coming in the mail because we purchased from that company. They were on Shark Tank, and it's a girl who makes cookie dough, like edible cookie dough with no eggs, and you can bake it, but you can also eat it, and it's spelled like dough and then P at the end. But he keeps saying that our dope is coming in the mail, and I'm like, our what? Our what is coming in the mail? Our dope is coming in the mail, but that should be here anytime. And we'll let you know how that goes because it sounds amazing. So be sure to check out their website. And the episode of Shark Tank is also on their website if you're interested in checking that out. I need to like angle my camera down a little bit. You guys are getting like too much ceiling. I'm going to end up messing things up. See what happens when Mark's not here? You know what? We're just going to leave it. Good morning. The last Friday Q&A. Don't panic. Don't panic. It's not the last Friday Q&A. We're changing things around, and we are going to be rebranding Q&As. We're going to be calling them something new, and we're going to try to play with the format a little bit. I'll be honest, we've been doing these Q&As for so long now. How many did I say in the email? Did I say 95 Q&As? Something like that? 95 Q&As since we started, and we have to have like a topic for all of them, and we're starting to run out of ideas. So we're going to be changing the format a little bit, still doing Friday Q&A, but it's going to be called something different, and we're going to be doing things a little bit differently, and hopefully the content that we're able to provide to you guys when we make this change will be more valuable in the long run. I hear the dog, so maybe the mailman's here. So let's go ahead and get to the news. For those who are joining us for the very first time, we hang out for the first 10 minutes of every video to catch our alphas up. So I think that means that the mail is here, which means Mark should be joining us shortly. Shirt sales. We sold shirts for Australia, and we did not meet our goal of 100 shirts, unfortunately. We wanted to sell 100 shirts. We sold 83, I believe, so really close to the goal. And I think that we made $955 to donate in shirt sales, and I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest, so it's just a straight 1,000. That way we can, collectively have donated $1,000 to the Australian Red Cross to help those who experienced all of the fires and stuff. So yeah, thank you to all the alphas who ordered shirts. Quick disclaimer, when those shirts come in, they're going to smell like vinegar. They do like a vinegar wash on the shirts first for color. So just don't be like surprised when you open up your package and it's kind of stinky. Let's see. First time watching live. Awesome, Amber. We're going to be changing things very, very soon, but it's going to be a lot more fun. And there's going to be a big reveal at the end of Q&A today, and we're going to tell you what the name of the new Friday live streams are going to be and how that's going to be branded. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Big announcement. Every Monday, Nate, our little, I don't want to call him an assistant. He's not an assistant. Our marketing guy? No, he's not our marketing guy. Nate, you guys know Nate. Nate is going to be posting a weekly challenge in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community every single week. So far, he has plans out until July. So yeah, just expect every Monday to pop into the group. It'll always be pinned at the top of the public community. If you're a Handmade Alpha Academy student, you'll have to make sure that you're also a member of the public community to participate in the challenge. This week's challenge, Nate has challenged the alphas to either take a photo of your studio before you clean it and then clean it and like show how you've organized it, or post an old photo of your studio, maybe from a few years ago, and then a new photo of your studio or workspace now, and show how much you've grown. So that thread is posted in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community. If you're not a member, that is linked down below. Feel free to join and find that post. It's right at the top of the page. We have a lot of alphas who have been showing off their offices. So even if you can't post your own photos, be sure to go through and look at the next ones. And then every Friday, I'll be sure to continuously announce what our, you know, theme of the week is gonna be. Let's see. Our Nate. I deleted mine. I saw and wished I would have kept it. Oh, you mean like your old office photos? Yeah, I need to take like an updated office photo. I still want to do stuff to my office. So we're working on the Alpha office right now, but I wanted to show like my Etsy office. So that challenge sounds pretty embarrassing. It doesn't have to be. You're supposed to feel good about how far you've come. All right, so next big piece of news is we're starting an SEO series, and we're starting this series because I went through all of my YouTube videos, which it's literally hundreds, went through all of my YouTube videos and tried to figure out which of those were the most popular. And by far, our most popular videos were our SEO videos. Next in line were our psychology videos. So I've decided that I'm going to start working on both, but we're going to start with SEO, and I'm starting from the top because we have some... Hello.
Hello.
We have some alphas who literally don't even know what SEO is, depending on where they are. So what I want to do is be able to create some fun resources for you guys so that you're able to start from the beginning, no matter where you are, and watch this series beginning to end. So the very first video is up on my channel. It's already going crazy. I'm going to be sending an email about it tomorrow. So if you're on my email list, you will get an email just reminding you. Did you get our... Oh,
They wrote a handwritten note.
Oh, have a dope day. Look at that packaging. Did they give us stickers?
Yes.
Get ready to dig
We got
in.
stickers.
That is awesome. How awesome of them. So there's some packaging examples for you.
It's small though. Like it's
Oh.
not very much for the amount that you pay for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know those little like makeup containers that are like this big around and like this tall? Like the ones you put powdered stuff in? It's 6 of those.
Oh.
And it was like $48.
Oh, well, now we know.
Well, it was 38, but like $11 shipping because it's 2-day.
Oh, well, we'll try it.
Yep.
Anyway, new SEO series. Be sure to go watch that video, even if you're not a newbie. I'm changing the format a little bit, making it a little bit more funny, making it a little bit more upbeat. You gotta move my thing there. Making it a little bit more upbeat, and trying to create something that's unlike any of the videos that are currently available on YouTube, because there's already a lot of SEO videos on YouTube, but obviously if you guys aren't finding your answers from those videos that are available from other creators, it means that those creators are doing something that you don't like if you're not able to sit and listen through their videos. So what I'm trying to do is do what, you know, makes things more digestible for me and make that content a lot more fun, a lot more silly, but still using a lot of good metaphors and things that will hopefully make those concepts stick a little bit easier. So lots of good feedback on that video. One person did ask if I thought that you guys were stupid or if you were children. And I'm like, this is literally my first newbie video ever. So yeah. Next big piece of news, if you've been waiting for Handmade Titan University to open, which I know that many of you have, it is open now. I'm offering 3 bonuses to any of the alphas who join, because you know me and Renee constantly give goodies to each other's peeps. If you enroll with the link down below, it's handmadetitanuniversity.com/magic. If you use the /magic when you enroll, you'll get my 3 alpha bonuses. They're not listed on her actual sales page because I thought up those bonuses kind of like at the last minute. We're offering a new bonus this year where we're going to do a live photo, kind of like a little workshop. And we're going to be taking your guys' photos that you submit to me, and I'm going to edit them live and show you guys practical ways to edit some of your most difficult photos. So if you're interested in joining, that's linked down below. It will be open until this Wednesday, which I believe is the 29th. And before anyone asks, if you're already a Handmade Titan University student and you have been for a while, unfortunately I cannot offer the bonuses because there are literally 3,000 Handmade Titan University students and I can't do a free...
Please don't email us about it.
Yeah,
we will ignore that email.
Or we'll make
get them constantly.
Like we have to keep like the sacred things that we normally charge for. We have to keep those to limited like little accesses. But it's not the only opportunity that you're going to have to acquire those things. And if you're already a Handmade Alpha Academy student, 2 of the bonuses you already have. And the photo workshop, we do those every few months anyway. So, you know, it's not something that you won't ever get access to in the future. Okay, And let's see. Amber didn't go via the HAA link. That's okay. You pretty much already have all my bonuses. Let's see.
She said, but I think I already have your bonuses.
You do have my bonuses.
All
right.
Said Mark's about to be a customer of Beard Co. Yeah. I got a lot of different. I've tried out a lot of different companies. I've settled on a company called Live Bearded.
Live Bearded.
Yeah.
Live Bearded.
I like their stuff.
All right, guys. So we haven't done an open Q&A for a while, and with this being our last like Friday Q&A, we will still be around every Friday. We had a lot of people asking questions. They asked if we were going to change our business format. No, we're only changing Fridays, and we're really just rebranding it because I'll be honest, you guys know that SEO is a thing on Etsy, right? Well, SEO is also a thing on YouTube. And when I'm trying to promote an Etsy video, the words Friday Q&A don't really compete very well. So we're changing the name. I want to change the graphics that I post for you guys on in the groups, because I've been doing that format that says Friday or Q&A Friday. I've been doing that format for 3 years now. So we're going to change that up a little bit. I'm going to be creating more imagery, and we're going to talk about all of that at the end. And we finally decided on a name, on the new name. It's not going to be Friday Q&A anymore. We're going to have like a new name and a new format.
Totally new branding for it.
And we're going to discuss that with you at the end. But since this is our last Q&A, we wanted to do an open one. Those seem to be your guys' favorites, not necessarily the favorites of those who are in the replay, but for those who join us live, we get the best feedback on the days when we don't have a topic and we just let you guys run wild, and we, you know, take time to really discuss your questions. So the only question that we don't answer are tax questions, though we can kind of like, you know, we can tell you our experiences.
We can touch on them, but nothing specific.
Right, we can't give any legal advice on tax questions. And I spent a lot of time last night researching the ODR, the order satisfaction rate for Etsy. I'm not proficient on it yet, though. So I might be able to answer some questions about it, but keep in mind, like, Etsy hasn't even been super helpful with describing everything.
No,
so.
They really haven't. They implemented it without saying anything, which is like the worst thing a website can do.
Yeah.
And the length of the live stream kind of depends up to you guys. We'll go up until 1, but if you guys stop asking questions, then we got to cut it.
Right.
Awkward silence be bad.
Why does Etsy hide out descriptions now? Is it to take away our branding?
No.
Honestly, we couldn't tell you because we're not Etsy.
Etsy won't do anything to purposefully hurt you.
They think that what they're doing is showing people the information that matters. Unfortunately, it really does hurt for our customers to not be able to immediately see that description. So what I always recommend is make sure that anything that is extremely important for your customers to know, well, in your photos.
Yeah, that too.
Put it in your actual photos. The actual item description is no longer showing.
Yeah, well, I know.
So,
on Etsy.
right. So make sure that your photos, you know, I mean, you have 10 of them. You can put in little bits of text and try to describe accurately the things that you really need your customers to know, especially if it's something that has to do with like a personalization, or like, I would even say instructions on how to use or how to wash, depending on what the product is. Make sure that all of that is in your photos, because even if they don't see the description, they will look at the 10 photos that you've provided.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't like about them having the descriptions hidden, because there are so many people that have specific things in the description about the product that can cause bad reviews if people don't read them and then they receive the item and they get something other than what they expected.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of it. They didn't do it purposefully to damage your shop. They'll never do that, because if something damages your shop, that the couple of pennies that they're losing from you hurts them too. So
let's see.
Amber asked if we're in a rush to do the next unboxing. No,
No.
I don't think so.
We have one item.
Yeah, we have one item. By the way, we need to start announcing the unboxing again, because we haven't been receiving anything.
Yeah, we've got one item for the unboxing, and it's still the one that Bubbers ripped open, because the alpha who sent it I didn't know that it was catnip toys. So he kind of destroyed that. Let's see.
Linda, she said big multi-part question.
All right.
Excuse me. How hard was it to niche down to a specific product, and did you have a lot of customer blowback? Plus, how did you get the updated concepts?
All right, well, let's start with the first part of that question. How hard was it to niche down to a specific product? So When I started making jewelry, I did start just making keys. And then I added in watches. I did like pocket watches and chokers and bookmarks, and I did some rings and bracelets. I did a couple bracelets and purse charms and purses. I did purses for a while. Remember, I printed my actual really pretty key photography onto purses. And I mean, honestly, I niched down when I realized that, yeah, I could throw these random products in and sprinkle them in alongside my keys, but it was always the keys that people raved about. Like, that was the primary focus of my shop. So I wanted to focus on the thing that I was known for and the thing that people were buying. And though I would make a few sales on the bags and the purse charms and things, they took a lot more time to make, which made it not worth my efforts. I didn't enjoy making them as much. I had to use materials that I wouldn't normally use or that I didn't have a lot of on hand. And overall, I felt like it was taking away from the primary aspect of my shop, which were the keys. That's what my logo was. It was all my entire thing. I mean, we got just as much as we have like the wolves with the alphas, we are kind of the same with the keys for our Etsy audience. So that's why I niched down. And I wouldn't say it was kind of hard because I had so many things that I could make, and every time I thought of something that I could make, I would think, yeah, people will buy this. People will spend a lot on this. But I had to train myself not to create just because I could or just because it might sell. Because ultimately, I mean, there's a lot of things that might sell. I could pretty much release anything in my shop and it might sell, but what's that going to do for my long term, and what's that going to do for my branding, and how is that going to affect my sanity when trying to, maintain this very scatterbrained business model? So I stuck to keys. And did you have a lot of customer blowback? No, I mean, every once in a while, I'll have customers ask me like, hey, do you make bracelets? And I'm just like, nope. I used to, but I don't anymore, and they're totally fine with it. They know me for my keys. So once again, this is like you asking me personally about my shop. So this might not be the same for every business model. Maybe some other businesses get blowback, but with mine, everybody knows what I'm all about. They know what my business is about, and that's why they followed me. So, and then what was the last part?
It shoots down here. How did you get the point across about your new concept to the customers?
It wasn't for my Etsy shop. It wasn't a new concept. Do you mean when I rebranded from doing artwork to doing jewelry?
Yeah, just approach it that way.
Yeah, because when I started with artwork, I didn't have like a big audience. I only had like 20 people who had liked my Facebook page because I sold on a website called createmytattoo.com, where artists would basically all submit art based on how much someone was offering for a design, and then that person would choose the artist that they wanted to actually pay for the design. And I mean, I made quite a bit of money on there, but it was too time consuming. So it wasn't that I, was shocking my audience by changing to jewelry. I've always done keys. The very first piece of jewelry that I made for Art by Starla Moore was a key. So
if Mark was to make a handmade item, what would he make?
Ooh.
I actually talked about opening an Etsy shop there for a minute, but I like my free time. So I was going to do I don't know if you've ever seen them, and I don't really know what the technical name for them is, but they're where you basically take wood plaques and you soak the tops in water, you wet the tops with water, and then you attach a battery to either end. And the electricity arcs through the wood until it eventually connects, drying up the wood, but it creates like a tree-looking pattern through the grains in the wood. Yeah, it's like lightning through the wood. It's really cool. So that's what I was going to do there for a little bit. Then I decided I don't want to because we already have this business and we have Art by Starla Moore and I have a band and then I have my hobbies. So I don't really have any time for it. I am going to start game streaming here soon. I probably won't share the name for that with you guys
because he's inappropriate. He wants to stay inappropriate.
Yeah, in my free time, I'm incredibly inappropriate, and it's probably a little much for some of you guys. So
maybe if like you message us privately and you're like, hey, You
Yeah,
can
maybe.
you can say bad words
There's a
and you
few.
won't offend
There's a
me.
few of you guys that I know are fine, but it's really dirty words.
He doesn't want to offend anyone with his bad words when he gets mad at video games.
Yeah, the group of people that we're going to be playing with, we call ourselves the pervert crew. So
that's like their whole thing is just being gross.
it's just being gross to people in the chat. So
It's gross.
so we'll leave that there.
Poor
Let's
Bobber.
see. Do you have any advice on paying yourself as an employee of your own company, such as using a payroll service or just using your business account for personal spending as well? We don't do them separately. Everything for us is personal. We don't. We're not technically like an LLC or anything, so we're not required to pay ourselves from a company yet. Can't help it. I have to. Concentrating. So I don't really have any advice on that. I would probably get with an accountant and have them deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's one of those like on the brink where since we haven't personally done it, we can't really, I mean, we could always say like, oh, make sure that you get an accountant or, we actually do have someone that we're going to be talking to in the future. I won't say her name yet, but we're talking to someone who has like a tax course that's meant for businesses like Etsy shops and handmade businesses. And we might be doing something with her in the future if that's something you guys are interested in learning how to do. But until then, it's just something that we're not comfortable talking about. Okay.
Are you talking about the description being minimized to the side because that happened a while ago, or are you saying that they don't exist at all?
Being minimized to the side.
Yeah, some people are still kind of adjusting to that.
Yeah.
Amber. Could you do a more in-depth how to start and maintain a notebook tour, as I struggle to not have a jumbly mess of notes, and I remember you showing us briefly that you make an index, etc.
Yeah, I could do that as like an edited video so it's a little bit shorter. Just kind of talking about how I really just make a glossary at the beginning of my books, my notebooks, and I, number every single page, and I make sure that the first page of wherever I start, I have the name of the book and the author. That way I can just kind of flip through and find exactly what I'm looking for. But honestly, my secret is just making sure that I'm cataloging exactly where in my notes I'm covering what subject. And then I highlight afterwards. And that way, anything that is super duper important or stands out to me, or if I write in my own ideas while I'm reading, because sometimes I'll read something and then I'll think about how that could apply to my business. And then I will write in, like, I'll put idea and I'll put like a star beside it. And then I'll write out how I feel that, part could be relevant to my own business. Or I'll write like, if I'm reading a business book talking how to write, for example, maybe a product description, I'll test it out and I'll try to write a product description for myself or an ad copy for myself after I've read, a little snippet about it. So
For any alphas just joining, because I know our numbers have like doubled since we started the stream, we're doing an open forum today. So post your questions down below. Tax questions, we can only kind of hit on gray area stuffs, and ODR, we're not professionals on.
yeah. So you're right that we do have a lot more people here. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly, while we're getting more questions in the comments, this is our last Friday Q&A. However, we are still going to be having Friday Q&A, but it's not going to be called Friday Q&A anymore. We're rebranding it. We're going to have kind of a new format. We're changing things up. And we're going to make it a lot more fun in the future. Yes. So we're still going to be here every Friday.
We'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah, we're going to tell you the big secret at the end. And for those who are joining us, if you have questions about Handmade Titan University, I know that's not like the main topic of the day, but because enrollment's open, and for those who are interested, the link to join with my 3 alpha bonuses is down below, handmadetitanuniversity.com/magic. If you have any specific questions about it, I have taken the full course. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love it. I love Renee. Feel free to post any questions about that you have in the comments as well. All
Amber
right.
Hibbard, should I work on getting people to subscribe to my emails or join my Facebook group first, or do both at the same time?
Email list is usually what you should focus on. Yes. I balance both though. I have people join my email list and then I send emails to tell them to join my Facebook group. And in my Facebook group, I tell them to join my email list. So I would use it almost like a double-sided funnel where you're passing people back and forth, but focus on both. And once you have them in one location, try to entice them to join the other location as well. That's what I would do. Where am I? I need tissues.
Daisy and Crumble. Following on from the niching down question, when you niche down, how long did it take for Etsy to start recognizing you for that specific product? Her product was already pretty niche from the get-go, so I don't really think it took all that long.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't sell anything but jewelry on Etsy, and
Need tissues?
yeah, they are in my purse. So yeah, I've always sold jewelry, and I didn't know anything about SEO when I first started selling on Etsy, so I wasn't, ranking for any keywords at the time when I really, quit creating other things other than my keys. So I don't really feel like I can accurately answer that question, but I will say that when you're niching down, Etsy's typically, I'm assuming you mean like your SEO. When is Etsy going to start registering the shift in what you want to be known for, and when is Etsy going to begin noticing you for the keywords that you're trying to rank for? And my big advice is to make sure that you're using similar keywords over and over again in your tags and titles. Thank you. For example, I use the term skeleton key necklace in all of my tags and titles. Therefore, when you search skeleton key necklace on Etsy, I'm one of the first people that you see. But it usually takes around 60 days for Etsy to fully register major changes in SEO. That isn't like a confirmed number, but that is the standard that most people go by. So,
let's see. What are your favorite mailer inserts? I'm struggling to find things to send out with customer orders. I hand pour soy wax melts right now. I also send a small sample.
We actually have a Friday live stream that we did a couple months ago called, I think it was called What to Include in My Etsy Packaging or something like that. Or was it one of the holiday series videos? Anyway,
I have no idea.
I talk about ideas that you could add into your packaging. So I would go back and watch that video. What I usually include is a care instruction sheet and a business card and a card with my face on it, because I feel like that builds a really good interaction for, trust between you and your buyer. And I used to include a little thing for my story, which, I would just kind of tell people a little bit more about myself. So, but those are just a couple ideas. And obviously a sample works too. Will you get him on your lap and quit moving around?
He's trying to jump up on your computer. I'm doing damage control.
There he is.
There's a bubbers.
Okay.
He just wants a cuddles. All right. Let's see. Ouch. I know that my fans will never tire of giveaways for when I reach a milestone, but I have. Do you have any other alternatives just to mix it up a little bit?
I mean, you could do challenges and instead of giving them an item, feature their pet rather than giving them like a product. Like do like a pet of the month or something, and maybe showcase pet of the month on your group banner. Like I used to do member of the month for my Friday Q&As for my Key Club. God, I'm a mess. I used to do a keeper of the month, and I would put their photo up on my banner. So just so people feel like their pet is being admired. I feel like that might be just as valuable as receiving an item. Let's see. Yeah. Is that it?
How have you been doing with the new ads combined with Google ads? I've been doing about the same 15%. I don't like Google ads. I haven't even looked at my ads as of recently, but I haven't noticed any changes. I get a lot of sales from my ads. I see, you get a little megaphone like icon when you make a sale from an ad. Because I invest so little, I think I only have my ads set to like $1 or something because my SEO is so good. But I still do get quite a few sales from them. I just haven't really dissected my numbers much recently. So I think that it really just varies because ads,
I have a hard time answering when alphas ask me, do like Etsy ads work? And yeah, I mean, yeah, they work. Like if you put money in, it's going to show your product. But at the same time, if you don't have an enticing thumbnail, or there's like so many, or just a good product, that too. Or if your SEO isn't great and you're being found in categories that, the shopper isn't looking for your type of product, I also feel like those factors are going to really determine whether or not your Etsy ads are actually going to work. Because no matter what, like, they're going to work, you're going to be placed whatever you're paying for. But whether or not someone clicks is completely up to you and your ability to really entice the customer based on all of the other listings that are displaying on that page and how you measure up to those as well. So, yeah, that would be my bit.
Any advice for someone new to Etsy when it comes to adding new items, such as how best to get the word out about them, getting your traffic to your shop, etc.?
So we kind of follow Renee Christine's business model of doing product launches, and rather than adding like, hey, I added an item, hey, I added an item, hey, I've got an item, new item. Nobody wants to constantly listen to a seller who just randomly promotes like a new item every day or says that they've listed a new item. That's why we recommend doing product launches. If you go to freehandmadetraining.com, you can get Renee's product line formula, and that'll teach you how to basically create these launches. And from there, it makes it a lot easier to actually advertise on social media. So getting traffic to your shop, that's all about you and SEO. Search engine optimization, that's going to make sure that people who are already shopping on Etsy are going to find you. So you want to keep you want to make sure that you're pulling in new people from Etsy, just like a store at the mall would want random passerbys to come into their store. But at the same time, you also need to market externally through social media. We always recommend having an email list. Renee Christine is working on a huge email list series over at her channel, which has recently been renamed Cupcake Trainings. So you can find a huge email list series over there to kind of talk about how, that all works. But ultimately, getting traffic to your shop, it needs to be a balance between catering to those who are shopping on Etsy and driving your own traffic through social media, building an email list where you have those people constantly, they're not going to go anywhere, and being able to market to them over time. For me, if I were to send an email to my list today and say, hey, I'm having a 30% off sale, I would probably make several $1,000s today. Having that power over an audience is amazing, especially when, we'll say like an emergency happens and you need to make money fast. There's so much power in just having your audience and buyers and people who want your particular content, or, sneak peeks and things about your products. The cat is being so bad today, guys. If we seem distracted, that's why. But having them all collected on an email list where you can forever market to them, it's a powerful thing. So, can you lock him upstairs? He's like throwing off my vibes bad. God, poor Bubbers. He's just being a butthead because he wants attention. All right, let's see. Oh.
Poor cat.
Let's see.
I highlighted the next question.
Oh. There were no questions in here?
No.
Oh, okay. Rate it, Mr. Moa.
When taking product photos, I've been doing a white background, but it seems so sterile and bland. Are there any other backgrounds you could suggest?
I don't just say white. I don't know why everyone assumes that I just say white. Everyone thinks I just say white.
We say that white works for most people.
But I don't just say white. I say white or light. White or light. Light can be ashwood. Light can be pink. Light can be beige. Light can be, sand. Light can be anything light. Just don't make it like black. Light can be anything that is not dark, or, and even some products do well on dark, but light is usually easier to edit, and Etsy favors light backgrounds. So I would
Yes.
experiment a little bit and maybe go, depending on the size of your products, you could try going to a craft store, grabbing some scrapbook paper, and experimenting that way. If you have large products, you can get some really cheap photo backdrops on Amazon, like super cheap, that look like wooden floors and bricks, and there's all kinds of things. But it doesn't need to be stark white if you can't pull that off. I do it in my shop. There are lots of alphas that can do it well. I understand that, you know, editing limitations can keep a lot of alphas from being able to get rid of that like kind of sterile look. It doesn't need to be white, and I've never said that it needs to be solid white. It can be light colored as well.
And someone asked, and I believe it's a continuation on this question, what if my branding is dark? It doesn't necessarily matter what your branding colors are.
And I mean,
your photos aren't always going to match your branding colors.
Right, and I mean, there are plenty of people who can pull off the dark backgrounds. I'm not saying that you could never use dark. Etsy tends to favor light backgrounds, and you can use, okay, so for example, the Wicked Griffin, great example of a shop that does phenomenal dark backgrounds. You can just go to Google, type in the Wicked Griffin, and find Jacqueline's shop. She uses dark backgrounds. She pulls it off amazing. She has a kind of, you know, pagan, witchy shop, and it fits. It makes sense. She's able to pull it off okay. But often what I see are shops that try to use a dark background and it completely takes away from the product itself. There are some products just should not be photographed on dark backgrounds. I think that silver jewelry tends to do okay on dark backgrounds, but usually if you're to do like a side-by-side comparison, every time alphas have done that in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community, a majority of the community says the lighter backgrounds look better. So if you ever want to test the theory just to see how others perceive your own photos, because sometimes dark backgrounds do work, what I recommend is take a couple different photos on different backgrounds and edit them exactly how you would have all of your listing thumbnails, post them in the Handmade Alpha Facebook community, and ask the alphas to vote. And then go with whatever the majority says looks the best to them. Because you want to make sure that you're not just attempting to do what you personally think looks best, because often it isn't how others are going to perceive your thumbnails. Those thumbnails are extremely important. And when you're looking at a big, huge product search page, I feel like it's really, really hard to allow your eyes to drift over those dark images. It's straining on the eyes. That contrast is not pleasant on your eyes. It's so much easier to look at a page when all of those photos are cohesive. And when you notice that most of the sellers on Etsy are using those light backgrounds, that dark background kind of sticks out in a bad way. So, like I said, it works for some products. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but I would consider it and I would test it, and I would also make sure that you're polling your audience because it's going to be different depending on your product, your branding, and your editing skills. Okay.
Rant over.
That's what I'm here for. If they didn't want to rant, they wouldn't be here. Isn't that right? Hashtag Starla Rant. Put it in the comments.
How do I create a product collection around this space? Basically, how do I create a product collection out of one-of-a-kind product? They sell clear resin jewelry.
So you, even if you're making clear resin jewelry, are you using the same types of flowers? Because if they all just look kind of different, but are the same, like maybe you do like clear resin and a little, we'll just say like a little flower and maybe a little bit of sand or something, I don't know. But you're using the exact same materials, they just look slightly different, you can put those all under one listing. And you can continue to make that type of product and you can keep it in stock. And though they all will look unique, you can put in your product description, due to the handmade nature of my products, the item that you receive may vary slightly from the item pictured. But you're still making the same item with the same materials. That way you can build a bestseller. That's what's important. This isn't creating a repeatable product that can be sold over and over again. That isn't like some stingy thing that Renee and I recommend for no reason. We recommend it because Etsy will favor your listing if it is a listing that is perpetually available and sells out and restocks over and over and over again. Etsy's going to favor that because they're going to see that people are interested in that listing and it's selling repeatedly, and they're going to boost it higher in a search page. So this isn't like a Starla preference. This is an Etsy preference. And that's why one-of-a-kind shops typically don't do as well. Etsy does not favor one-of-a-kind shops because that listing cannot be replicated and sold over and over again. So
let's see. Mallory, glad to catch you live. I loved your 2020 goal video from a few weeks ago. Any other recommendations for staying focused on one line and not making all the things?
Focus. I mean,
it's really a self-control
yeah,
thing.
you can make anything. You have the ability to create anything, but it does not mean
that you should.
You need to have a very, very strict, I would say, like, create guidelines for your brand. And every time you plan a product collection, make sure that you're staying within your guidelines. Write down all of the key elements of your brand. For example, with me, I might write down skeleton keys, fantasy, dragons, crystals, magic, and those might be my guidelines. And if I try to create anything that falls outside of that, for example, I always use, this is like my big product fail. We had one of our key club members tell me that I should make football themed keys because they would be so popular and all the football moms would buy them and personalize them with their kids' birthstones. So I did it. I have sold one to date. One or two, I think. I think two now.
I think we're up to 3.
Those have been in my shop for 2 years now. They will not sell because I created football when my whole shop is about fantasy and magic. It didn't fall within my guidelines. So to this day, I do not create anything unless it falls within my little guidelines of being either fantasy, whimsical, crystal related, dragons.
Think about your products critically. Think about the audience that you're selling to, and think if that product is actually going to be something that they'll use or wear or
right. It's not
whatever. Like we think about football, but how many people that watch football are going to be interested in fantasy keys with a football player on them?
Right.
Like it was a lack of critical thinking, really.
Yeah, and thanks.
You're welcome. And we're allowed to admit our own mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. We make mistakes.
But yeah, I mean, you have to think about your audience. If you're creating and you're thinking about yourself, then it's not, just because you can or because you like to make it. Those are things that you do as hobbies. I'm really good at those space paintings. I don't even think, where is our space painting? I don't even know.
No idea.
Oh, it's in the back room. If you go in back through my channel a couple months, there's like a picture. One of my thumbnails is of Nate, and it says something like he doesn't know that we're making this video. And I did like this really cool space painting canvas. I'm really good at those, but I'm not going to sell them. I do them as a hobby. You have to think about if what you're making is actually something that your target audience specifically is going to buy and they're going to find practical. So don't feel stressed if we don't get to all the questions. I know you always want to rush through and make sure we answer them all. But
no,
if we did,
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
I'm going to give it about another maybe 15 minutes, and then we'll do our rebrand info, and then we'll be good.
No, we've still got like 30 minutes.
That's why I said we're going to do another 15 minutes and then start talking about rebrand info.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't listen to me.
I don't listen. It's, you know what it is? It's because my coffee's empty.
Yeah. Go get more.
You don't want to go get me coffee?
No, I've already got your tissues. It's your turn. See, I do breed every week, and people come to look for it now, but I don't announce new item. It's mostly for my own enjoyment, as commissions were really dragging.
You have an active group, though.
I'm not done, woman. It's one of my goals to completely stop commissions eventually, except for maybe one week open a year. But it scares me to not have that consistent and reliable income. How did you eventually wean off your custom range? We grew to hate it.
Oh, yeah.
You mean like commissions?
Yeah.
God, I hated it. I hated working with the people. I didn't like just the conversations where they would drag on for days and days, and people would get so mad.
Yeah, like I did one where someone asked for a custom order, told me that price didn't matter, but she gave me like these crazy specifications. And I'm like, yeah, I can totally do that. And I made the whole key for her, and the key came out to like $58, which is significantly less than most of my keys, especially for the size that she wanted, might I add. And she was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that this was going to be so expensive." And then she like kept trying to justify it, like she's like, "This is for my son," so I'm like,
and
"And
and all the pity party stuff, like I'm sorry if you've got cancer, but everyone has cancer apparently, because we would get like 2 a week where people would say, "Hey, I've got cancer. Can I get something for cheap?" And it was just like, you feel bad saying no. And at first we didn't, but then it was to a point where like literally every other person was like, "Oh, I've got cancer. Oh, my cousin has AIDS. Oh,
yeah."
like this, that, and the other." And it was like, okay, we can't just pity party literally everyone. So we're like, okay, the best decision is to just stop.
And that's one of those things where if people like try to push you into donating, like, a free product or giving them a discount, I mean, they're trying to pull at your heartstrings. And a lot of the times, I don't want to say that a lot of the, how do I say this without making people mad?
People lie.
Sometimes people will lie.
Most of the time, people lie.
One of my mom's very, very best friends, she made like national news because she shaved her head and had all of these cancer rallies, and we donated products for her auctions, and all these businesses donated products, and she made like $20,000 in donations. Even told her boyfriend that she had cancer, had him take her to her doctor's appointments, and it came out that if you type in like fake cancer patient Ohio, you'll find her. But
Yeah, she got a lot of money.
she got a lot of money, and she also went to jail.
Yes,
So,
she did go to jail, but people do it all the time.
and we're not saying that everybody does it, because I mean, I'm sure that there's just as many, but even if the person is legitimate, that does not mean that you are obligated to give your own money if you cannot afford it, or if you don't feel comfortable with it, or if it's not something that you've allotted.
It's your business.
Right.
You might feel bad, but you have to think of it from a business perspective. You care, your business really shouldn't care. If it's somebody close to you, it's one thing. But if it's somebody that you don't know, you have no verification, and I mean, you could totally ask for verification, but then like if they do have it, then you just feel even worse. So I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to give advice on something like that, because it's like whether or not you want to do it. That's up to you.
I recommend telling them, here's what I do. I just say, I have a certain amount, or I have certain organizations that I donate to, and unfortunately, we do not have any space this year for any other charities. Find yourself legitimate charities to donate to. We donate to the Wolf Conservation Center of South Salem, New York. We did a charity live stream last year for the American Suicide Foundation. We are donating $1,000 to the Australian Red Cross, and we donate to the Planetary Society as well. So, I mean, have like your set organizations that you donate to, and then, if you're worried about someone getting upset at you, just say, "Hey, I donate to all of these organizations. I'm really sorry, but I've maxed out the amount that I can donate, this year."
Yeah.
That if you feel like bad about saying no, because we all get those messages eventually.
And like ours, I can understand, but it's like, why would someone who has cancer be taking the time to message a skincare Etsy company to get a discount? It's like 9 times out of 10 they're not telling the truth.
Yeah, discount for a free product, for like if you're having like a fundraiser for your, I can understand
totally
that, but like a discount because of a disability, I've leaves a sour taste in my mouth.
Do you have a list of must-read books for business and psychology? I just finished Who Moved My Cheese.
Yeah, every single week we will be posting a new. Look for hashtag Alpha Reading List. Every week, my page is Starla in the Handmade Alphas. It doesn't have hardly any followers for some reason. But in the group, I'm posting every single week. So you got to wait every week for the new book, because...
Well, we also have your full book list over on not the campus page, but
yeah,
the Handmade Alpha Academy
Facebook community.
Public Facebook community, yeah.
It's in the files section.
Go into the files section. We have a list of like the must-have books.
Yeah, but those same books I'm covering every single week.
I'm honestly scared my shop is going to fail because my vision sucks. Don't always see mistakes in photos. Can't always make every piece exactly the same because of my vision and so on. First thing I'd recommend is getting your vision worked on. Working on yourself is always going to be the most important thing. Your business isn't what's going to come first. You come first. So if your vision sucks and that's making it hard to edit your photos, you either need to get your vision fixed, get corrective surgery, or get glasses that actually work, or you need to hire somebody to do your photos for you.
Yeah,
Those
that's
are like your only two choices.
I mean, depending on, I mean, that's quality of life. Like you've got to take care of you. You can't suffer. Yeah. I mean, that's, you're missing out on so much by, I hadn't updated my glasses since I had first gotten pregnant with my daughter. And if you guys have noticed, like over the last few months, I wear these and I wear a thicker pair, but they're new. I've only had them for a few months, and it was insane. It was insane. I cannot imagine going back and wearing my old glasses because I could not believe how bad my vision had gotten.
And that was literally just laziness. She was like, I need to get my new glasses. I'm like,
I know.
Schedule an appointment.
I know. I just didn't go in and do it.
Busy people.
Yeah.
We understand. We're saying as we get it. We understand, but you definitely need to get that taken.
Like that's things. Those are little details of life that you're missing out on that are gonna. I mean, that's not something that I would ever wish on anyone.
Same thing with any medical condition. If you have any medical condition that's inhibiting you, whether that's physical or psychological, go take care of it.
Absolutely.
Like I know we have a lot of people that comment about depression and anxiety and all that stuff.
We've been there.
And yeah, we've been there. She had legit anxiety. And here's the thing about anxiety. For the majority of people that don't have like a chemical imbalance that causes anxiety, which is like 99% of people with anxiety, you can self-treat. You just have to understand how to do it. For those of you who can't, you can go see specialists that will teach you how to manage your anxiety or deal with the things that cause it. Most people don't need medication for it.
Especially if you're anti-medication. Like we try to take medication as little as possible for anything, even headaches.
Yeah, headaches, I have to be like throwing up in pain.
Yeah.
Before I'll take medication. But get yourself fixed.
Yeah. And with anxiety, the best thing that I did, and where my excitement for psychology came, or I won't even say psychology, I'll say neuroscience, is I wanted to learn more about what actually happens in the brain when you're having an anxiety attack. And the more that I learned about it and how it actually affects 70% of the nervous system, how your body is basically going into fight or flight mode because it thinks that there is a legitimate danger when there really isn't. I went from someone who had anxiety attacks several times a week to the point where I had to wrap in a weighted blanket and just turn into a potato for a few days, to someone who, I mean, how often does it happen to me now? Like once a month?
Not even, like once a quarter maybe.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen very often. And it's also important to distinguish, there's a lot of studies that go into it, and I'll try to say this in a way that doesn't offend anybody. You have to be able to distinguish like actual anxiety from
healthy anxiety.
Well, no, actual anxiety from like internal laziness, because a lot of people get down this road where they'll put things off and put things off and put things off, and then they'll justify it by thinking that they have anxiety because every time they think about it, they get nervous, they feel sick. That's not anxiety. That's literally just you putting things off. So
that's buildup. That's natural buildup.
Yeah, it's natural buildup, which does over time cause anxiety. So it's one of those things that you have to figure out like what your actual problem is, which is why I suggest you see a specialist. Like if you literally can't do things, see somebody. If you can't self-regulate, see a medical professional.
Oh, you ready for the hate we're gonna get in the replay comments?
To be honest, I don't care. It's one of those things that like a lot of people make excuses about things, and we've done it in the past. Everybody makes excuses for things, and I would rather be honest with the people that we're trying to educate than like try to cover things up and make excuses for it. So like if you think you have anxiety, see a medical professional to see if that's actually the problem. There could be other things that are causing it. You might have like when I was in the military, I thought I had a depression issue. I have change anxiety disorder. No freaking idea that that's what it is. But when massive changes happen around me, I completely shut down.
Failure to adapt.
Yeah, I have like a legitimate failure to adapt. But anyway, let's see. It's weird coming off of a really touchy subject like that because it's awkward. I've been told by photographers I should use slate gray for my glass jewelry. Will that hurt? If it works for your
No.
product, it works for your product.
It's not, nothing's gonna hurt. It just depends on how you execute it and how you do it.
Where did it go?
So
there it is. See, I would love to have my first photo more the consistent. It's such a challenge since I have clothing items that are much more larger in nature.
yeah, I mean, you can still keep things relatively consistent. I actually, with photos of clothing, I don't like going into shops, like, for example, that have mock-ups where every single mock-up is identical, where, you know, all of, you can tell that it's just a mock-up. So maybe that's a good thing that they kind of vary. We've already got some,
I don't know if that's what, they might be responding to something else. I'm not sure.
okay.
Did I miss something?
No.
Okay, yeah. Oh, she said she had anxiety. I wasn't replying directly to your message. I actually didn't see that part. I've reworked.
Okay.
How many times does something have to sell before it gets a bestseller badge?
We have no idea. It seems to be random. Etsy is not like disclosing that to anybody, so we have no idea. I mean, some of my bestsellers that are my bestsellers that I know are bestsellers don't have bestseller badges. Then other products that aren't bestsellers do have the badges, so I have no idea.
How do I transition my customers to expect new printed products? As a print shop, I already stock multiple different printed works in town in brick and mortar. How do I bring it about in my Etsy shop?
Release it as a new collection.
Uh-huh.
I would just release new printed products as a new collection and let your audience know that you're making a shift.
Looking for questions. How many days should I run a flash sale? Is it a weekend sale the best? Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I usually like to do, I mean, there's no right or wrong day, and people will still complain no matter what day you host a sale. People will say, oh, I don't get paid till Wednesday. Oh, I don't get paid till Monday. I usually do Friday because I've noticed that most people tend to get paid on Friday. So I usually do Friday through Sunday, but I would do 3-day flash sales, 2 to 3 days.
2 days at a minimum.
Yeah, keep it short. Keep it nice and crunched.
For custom orders, do you ask full price or a deposit? I personally would say full price, but it's up to you.
I ask full price I mean, I used to do a deposit, but a lot of people would just disappear and then I'd have their money.
Yeah, you'd have their money and the crap that you don't need for anything else.
Like, what do I do? What do I do with this product? What do I do with this money?
Especially if you have to order things, if that's like the reason you need the deposit, because like if they put the deposit down, you order the stuff, then you're just stuck with a bunch of crap you don't need.
Exactly.
Let's see.
Flash equals short, yes.
I just opened a shop selling embroidered kids' birthday shirts. I also added a couple patches on kitchen embroidered items. My shop.
Fire Queen.
I wasn't sure if I should open a new store or if it's
You missed
okay to.
The one above that.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Where?
The one right above it.
This is a continuation of this. I'm reading through to make sure it wasn't a question.
Okay.
See, Deb's right, man. Spousal deafness. Wasn't sure if I should open a new store or if it's okay to have all in the same store since it's embroidery. They make a bunch of different embroidered items.
Yeah, that's the cohesive element that holds it all together. Embroidery is the cohesive element. So I would say yes. I really discourage most sellers from starting more than one shop because you need 100% of your time and energy in a shop to make it succeed. So when you split that up and you try to distribute your attention to 2 avenues, I mean, what big company says, oh, my business isn't doing well, I know I'll start another one and then I'll have 2. You want to make sure that one business is successful before you decide to open another one. You don't want to try to build 2 houses at the same time.
Fire Queen, flash equals short, yes, so hours, not days. Maybe it's just me.
Flash equals short, but days. Short, as in not a week, maybe like 3 days, 2 days, not hours. I mean, if you have a huge audience, you could probably do like a few hour long sale. But if you don't have a big giant audience that's going to buy things up in just a few hours, then it's probably not going to go very well. It might, I could probably pull it off, but I've got an audience of 25,000. So I think it just depends on your audience size. It's never, I mean, you could try it, you could see how it goes. Just be aware that if your audience isn't huge, it might not do very well.
I used to make endless chemo caps on Etsy and started to get convos demanding that I donate the caps to cancer clinics or that all proceeds be given to cancer research. I made them as gifts. Literally anything you make that's for a condition, you're going to get hate for. So you just kind of got to buckle up and wait for that to come for you.
Yeah, we have a lot of people who want us to make keys with the different like awareness ribbons.
Oh, thank you.
But then they all ask.
You should be donating all your funds to the research instead of just like a portion. Like you're just gonna get hate.
Yeah, so we do other fundraisers instead.
Yes.
That's like why we did the shirt fundraiser for the Australian Red Cross. You know, we donate to so many different avenues, but we try.
Even when we grocery shop and stuff, like you usually select like if it's like a children's hospital or for at the pet store buying pet food, we always select the highest donation amount possible on the thing.
Yeah.
So we donate crap loads of money every year. Don't take crap from people.
Yeah, don't let anybody make you feel bad about not giving away products because you made those with your hands. Like those took you a lot of time. Let's see.
The word on Etsy is that lifestyle or pictures with people wearing your products is the best first photo.
I've never heard that before. That might work for some products, but what about products that aren't being worn, or what about products that are difficult to put in lifestyle photos? Yeah, lifestyle photos are great, but I don't think that they're necessarily the best.
I don't agree with it at all. I don't think they are. The reason that your first photo, your eyes should be drawn immediately to the product. And the problem with lifestyle photos is there's usually a lot of crap going on. Even if it's a couple of people wearing the product, your eye is drawn to the people first and then the environment and then to the product. You have to look and see what the product is. When the product is the first photo, all you see is the product. When you get on a website and look for something, you're not looking for something that makes you happy. You're looking for a product. So when you are scrolling through, if people are literally just scrolling through listings, not clicking on things, their eyes are gonna be drawn to the ones that are just the picture of the product, not to the picture of the people where they have to like click it and make it bigger and be able to see it, and like that's no.
Be really careful saying depressed people don't need medication. When did we say that?
So they've already been corrected. Even if it's not a chemical imbalance, there may be PTSD. Like
So
the thing is, if you have, we're not gonna get into that. If you have medication, it's because you've been given it by a medical professional. We were talking about things like ibuprofen and Tylenol and things like that. You most of the time don't need that. Most of those are a crutch medication, and unless you're like about to die, you shouldn't be taking things like ibuprofen, because thousands of people die every year literally just from taking a normal dose of ibuprofen because it's awful for your liver.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. If you have actual medication for something like, I'm not going to say anxiety, because a lot of I don't want to say the wrong thing here. A lot of psychologists and stuff like that will just prescribe you medication because they get a cut.
Not psychologist. That's not
psychiatrist, whatever. They'll prescribe you medication because they get a cut. We all know that happens especially in the United States. I don't know about other countries, but that is a big thing here. I'm not telling you not to take that medication. I'm saying just be careful of where you get it from, and that your doctor is somebody that's reliable. And
we've never said avoid taking meds. We said we avoid taking medications.
Yeah, so back up. See, I wish I could fix my vision. Currently, they can't be fixed paralyzed muscles in your eyes yet. Yeah, that sucks, man. You might have to either have somebody that you know review the pictures after you've edited them, like a friend, family member, spouse, kid, whatever your situation is. Have somebody look over them and just see if they find any mistakes. You can even teach somebody like that. If you have a kid or another family member living with you, something like that, you can teach them, have them watch our videos.
Our iPicky training series.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see. We're done with that. I'm looking into transitioning to Ashwood. It's so many photos, though. Do you think it will look weird if I do over the course of a few months?
No, that's how we
Nope.
did it.
Yep.
I used to take all my photos over concrete. I did it like on our concrete walkway. And it took me several months to get them all switched over. I would focus on the thumbnails first. Just get through your thumbnails, and then you can work on editing. Like, take all the photos in one session, but then edit all the thumbnails. That way, at least your shop looks cohesive first, and then work on your other photos.
Oh, it's 12:55. Let's see if there's any pressing questions.
Anything pressing in here, because we have so many. Magnet Maiden, how do I engage with my Facebook group? Watch Amber Marie's last live stream that she did. That's going to be super duper valuable. It was a couple months ago.
Let's see. What extra things do you do for your VIP people versus people just following you in public? When do you advertise for it? Do you have a flash sale for your VIP, not public, etc.? Yeah, most of the time when we do a sale, it's only for our VIPs.
Yeah,
Black Friday is the only time that we do sales for the public.
Yeah, we do a public sale on Black Friday, but then the VIPs get a special, a better sale.
They get extra.
VIPs get live launches. VIPs get live video from me. VIPs get work in progress photos. VIPs get to vote on what new product lines will be. VIPs get to chat with me personally during live streams, and VIPs get exclusive giveaways that I don't put publicly. So they get a lot.
All right. How do I start a Facebook group if I'm just starting out as a business?
You just create the group and start promoting it and telling people to join it. We have when we have like questions that like would take 6 hours to explain, it's usually easier for me to just recommend a video that we've already done where, you know, we've dedicated an hour to it. So go back through my channel and watch the video called How to Start a VIP Club or a VIP Facebook group. And that's probably going to be your best bet, because we actually talk like deeper in depth about all of the strategies that we recommend for starting a VIP group.
I like what Amber said there. I'd rather be anxiety aware or even free rather than anxiety numb. Discover the source rather than covering it up.
That's true.
Boom.
The more I learned about my anxiety and why it existed and what was actually chemically going on, the more I was able to tell myself, this isn't me, this isn't my environment, this isn't anything that is happening, you know, around me. This is a chemical imbalance in my brain that is taking place, and the more aware of it I became,
the less apparent it was.
Right.
It took her like a month after like reading up about it to fix it.
Exactly. And it's not that I fixed it, because it still happens, but when it happens, I used to try to just work through it, and now I know that if I just give into it and I give myself a day where I'm not getting on social media and I'm not trying to get up and clean the house. I mean, there are, you know, days every, I would say 3 months or so that I just lay down pretty much all day. And I feel like that fixes me faster than if I were to try to get up and just work through it, because if I try to power through it, it'll last several days. But hopefully that works.
I learned how to park the other day just because I was aware of my anxiety and how not to let it control. How to park, like your car?
You don't know how to park your car, Amber? Do you drive? Amber, do you drive?
How do you drive and not park your car?
Parking? You send a picture of him parking every day.
Oh, you mean like parallel? Like parallel parking? Anyway,
all right.
Rebrand info.
Rebrand info. There are 143 of you here, so that is really exciting. Friday Q&As are going away. Instead, we are replacing them with a newly branded, still Q&A session, still live every Friday, going to be around the same time. We debated names. I want it to be, oh, I'm so excited. I've been thinking about this nonstop. I want it to be a coffee meet. We're going to have a virtual coffee meet every Friday. And I thought about naming it the, what did I say? Coffee and Conversation, or Coffee and Convo, or Alpha Coffee Friday, or the Friday Coffee, and I kept thinking coffee. And coffee just doesn't roll off the tongue well. Like, I don't.
No, it doesn't.
Are you being a smart aleck right now?
Smart aleck.
I didn't like the name. Like, I want it coffee related, and I want to brand it in coffee. Like, you and I are meeting up and we're drinking our coffee together. So I don't know how it came to me, but while I was writing an email last night that you guys will be getting on Saturday about the SEO video, I just said to myself, the Friday bean. It's Eddie's medication. I said to myself, the Friday bean. And it just sounded right. So it's going to be the Friday bean. And there's a reason. Beans are a very important part of the Moore household.
That's a really weird way to say it.
Beans. Do you want to?
No, go for it.
Do you want to tell? Well, tell them how you started out with beans.
No, you do it.
But it's not my story. It's your story.
It's just my nickname. There is no story to it. That is literally the dumbest thing on the planet. So just go ahead.
His nickname, so his nickname all through high school was Beans. And when we got together, I didn't know that. And I was really confused when random people would just yell at him and go, Beans! And so when I got pregnant, he always called me Mama Bean. And then we had the baby bean in my belly. And now that she is a 7-year-old child, we still call her Mean Bean. And our dog, Itty, we call her Itty Beans. And there's just everything is beans in our life. So I'm like, you know what, beans? And we drink coffee. So we're going to call it the Friday bean. And you guys are going to meet with us and drink coffee every Friday. Right. And you guys are going to there's going to be a new graphic every Friday. So you guys, that square image that I post that says Q&A Friday, that's going away. We're branding it new. I have a logo for Friday Q&A.
And there is no deep meaning behind that name.
Yeah, it's just
whatsoever. All my friends had nicknames and I didn't. And there was a jar of jelly beans sitting on the table and I was like, okay, screw it, beans. And it stuck. People that I was in high school with still call me that.
Nate still calls him Beans.
Well, he's my close friend, but people that I literally never talked to in high school still call me that when I pass them by.
But
Mark is embarrassed. It takes a lot to embarrass me.
the Friday bean. So, guys, let me know if that's better than Alpha coffee meat.
Do coffee cups come with this?
Do coffee?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Maybe later on, if it sticks, we'll do like a branded Friday bean thing. Get an Instagram hashtag going. That would be cool.
Hashtag the Friday bean. And you guys,
hashtag Friday bean. No thought needed.
They could post pictures holding their mugs like every Friday. Taste it.
Oh, we got a whole thing going there. Thanks for branding things for us.
The Friday bean. And
am I a rebel if I bring tea to the coffee meet?
No, we're gonna do tea too because I know for a lot of you guys it's really late. And if you don't want to do decaf coffee, then I think that tea would also be an appropriate alternative as long as you're serving it in a mug. I think that the mug is the important thing, especially for those who don't want to be jacked up on caffeine like we usually are. But
Amber said British parking spaces are tiny. But I mean, you guys also drive on the wrong side of the road. So
or maybe we drive on the wrong side.
No, they drive on the wrong side of the road. They also measure things wrong. And they don't know how to do temperatures right.
We measure our temperature in freedom units.
Freedom units. It's currently 30 degrees freedom outside.
We're also thinking about, for the Friday bean, doing Bean of the Week. We haven't
Bean of the Week. We haven't decided exactly what we're going to do for that yet.
It just sounds like it should happen.
Stay tuned for that.
We don't know if we're going to feature an Etsy product that's Bean of the Week. We don't know if we're going to feature actual beans. It might be, it
might literally just be a picture of a bean at the end of every Q&A.
We haven't decided. You guys
because we are going to be doing an intro and outro screen to make Q&As easier. That way we don't have to sit and talk for like 2 minutes before the stream starts. It'll literally just be a splash screen, which we could totally do now, but we just have to make it. And then we also need a splash screen for the exit.
Bean of the Week, guys. All right.
Bean of the Week.
For those who made it until the end, you are the first to know about the Friday Bean. So be sure to go into the Facebook group and post the Friday Bean just to make everyone confused. Post it everywhere. Confuse people.
We literally could have just called the whole thing Bean of the Week.
No,
And
the
then
Friday
and then
bean.
the subject is the bean of the week.
No, Friday bean.
This week's bean is
This week's bean. All the subjects are the bean.
exactly.
Now I'm not changing it now. It's just bean of the week will be at the end. All right, so now that we're at the end, Handmade Titan University by Renee Christine is open now. I'm offering 3 bonuses. First bonus is my couples business boot camp. A couple people have said it saved their marriages and they really liked it. The recording on it's super duper cringy because Mark and I had never recorded a video together, but a lot of our alphas say it's life-changing. Normally, you only get that if you're a Handmade Alpha Academy student, but you will receive that for free. Bonus number 2, you get an invite to a February workshop with me where I will be editing your photos live and teaching you practical ways to edit some of your most difficult product photos. And 3, you're going to receive 100 Instagram prompts from me to use for your marketing throughout the new year. So the link to enroll, if you're interested, is handmadetitanuniversity.com/magic. That's linked down below if you expand out. We are also creating a new SEO series. Those will be, we haven't decided a day that those videos are going to post because I'm editing those. But the first video is available on my channel now, so go check that out. Handmade Alpha Facebook community is also linked down below. If you're not a member, be sure to join. We're doing a weekly challenge in there. Nate is posting those for us and coming up with challenges for you guys. This week's challenge is to post a before and after of your office, before cleaning and after cleaning, or a before photo from maybe a couple years ago and after, as in like how it's evolved over the years. And lastly, if you do not have my marketing calendars, that is a free PDF that you guys can grab, linked down below. Is that it? Did we do it? You can make merch. Do a bundle. The bean bundle. And we can wear merch and use our Friday bean mug during Friday bean. I can see it now. The Friday bean. Wait until you guys see my logo that I made. It's so fun. All right, guys. We hope that you enjoyed the very last Friday Q&A. Next Friday, you will all receive an invitation to the Friday bean. So make sure that you're on my email list if you're not. That is also linked down below. Handmade Alpha VIP.
Bean bundle.
The bean, the bean boozled. Ooh, we could do the.
We're the bean bundle.
The bean bundle. We could play Bean Boozled on. Don't want to play Bean Boozled?
No, I don't.
Don't want any of them stinky Harry Potter jelly beans?
Nope.
Ooh. All right, guys. Have an amazing weekend, and we will see you next Friday for the bean. Bye.
Bye-bye.